So you're thinking about retirement, right? We all are. We're all tired of the 9 to 5 grind, and we can't wait for a day we retire. But I'm gonna tell you this: if right now you're in your 40s or in your 50s, there's 5 things you need to have in place before you make that leap. And I'm telling you, if you don't have these 5 things in place, it will be a very difficult and long and boring retirement. So you definitely want to hear out my 5 things that you need to have in place before you retire. Now, the first thing is this, guys: you need to have financial security. Yes, you messed around in your 20s, you took it a little bit serious in your 30s, in your 40s, you took it really serious, but you really need to make sure financially you are straight to retire. You need to look at your expenses right now and say to yourself, okay, when I retire, am I gonna be able to sustain this lifestyle? How much money would I need to sustain this lifestyle? I'll make it easy for you. Everyone says the whole 4% safe withdrawal, okay? That's by far the best thing for you to do, the 4% safe withdrawal rate. So if you have $1 million, that means you can live off of $40,000 a year. Look at your expenses, tally them up. How much money you think you're gonna spend annually on your expenses? And look at realistically how much money you have within your retirement account, okay? If you have enough to survive, congratulations, you're good. You can retire at any moment because financially you can handle your business and you're good to go. I applaud you. But if you're not, you need to really start taking things very, very serious. For example, your IRA. If you have a Roth IRA account, you definitely need to start boosting up your contribution as much as possible. You're gonna get to a point where it's gonna be extremely vital that financially and your income is all intact. You're not gonna be able to retire whatsoever if your income is not where it wants to be. And trust me, I recently seen a video of someone at the age of 70 years old was working at Walmart, okay, just to survive. And the sad thing about it was he said he was not even sure that retirement is something that he can achieve. So I really want you guys to really focus on your finances and make sure everything's in place. We're talking about your emergency funds. If you have an HSA account, your retirement accounts, look at all of that. And if you see that and you recognize, okay, I am able to retire financially, great. But there's also something else they need to keep in mind, and that's the second thing. You need to have a debt-free lifestyle. It's as simple as that. You're not going to be able to retire, guys, if you're walking around with massive amount of debt, especially credit card debt. It is extremely crucial to reduce your debt as much as possible. You see, if you're in a situation where you cannot increase your income, right, the best thing you could do is just reduce your debt. You shouldn't be going into your 60s and your 70s having a credit card debt for things that you bought like within your 40s. Right? You gotta get rid of it. You just have to get rid of it. Now, also, the house. If you had a 30-year mortgage and you're down to your 25th year to a 24th year, guys, you gotta pay that off. That has to be your high priority because the number one cost you're gonna have when you retire is your living expense, right? And your mortgage being one of them. Healthcare is up there, but certainly your living expense, you wanna make sure you have that taken care of. You don't want to have a situation, guys, where you can't afford to pay your house, then you sell it, then you live in an apartment, because right now it's extremely expensive to get a house. So some people, even when they sell the house, they don't have enough equity to buy a home that's reasonable. You don't want to do that. And when you're older, you don't want to have this big ass house because the maintenance and whatnot. You want to just chill and relax. So with that being said, you want to make sure your debt is intact. You definitely need to make sure your debt's intact. I'm not even sure how many times I can say that until you finally realize that your debt needs to be intact. No more games, no messing around. Debt-free lifestyle needs to be the lifestyle that you choose. Now, the next thing you need to make sure you have in place is your healthcare plan. Healthcare cost is going to be the highest cost you are going to have when you retire. When you're older, things happen, guys. I'm 40 and I'm feeling things happening now. I couldn't imagine by the time I'm in my 60s, the type of little things I gotta deal with in my life. Okay, you might need a hip replacement, knee replacement. There's a whole bunch of stuff you think in your 40s you don't need, but you will need when you retire. So with that being the case, you want to make sure your healthcare is covered. If right now you're not at the age where you're gonna retire, I highly recommend if in your job, if they offer an HSA, put money within your HSA. That's a triple tax advantage account. You put money in tax-free, it grows tax-free, you take it out tax-free. That is awesome. Do that. Even if you are lucky, and you're fortunate and you reach the age in your 60s, you're completely healthy. You don't need to tap into your HSA account. Well, guess what? You can take that money out and do whatever it is you want to do with it after you hit a certain age. And I believe it's 65. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's 65. That is awesome, right? That in itself is awesome. If you need to use it for medical reasons, by all means, use it. Now, here's a little tip I want you guys to understand, okay? You need to pay attention to this. You do not need to put your claim in, right? Once you say you go to doctors and you pay, get the bill, you don't need to reimburse that right away. You can let it sit and reimburse it in the future, okay? The reason why that's important is because you're letting the money sit in that account and it's growing. And remember, the account is not like a high yield savings account. It's actually being invested. So it's in the market and it's growing. Do not take, nickel and diamond the HSA for $50, $100. Let the money sit. You pay it out of your pocket because in the future, that's going to grow. It's going to be tax-free, and that's the best advantage for you to take. Now, the fourth thing you need to pay attention to is your retirement budget. You need to start making out a budget to your lifestyle, which is why it's important to find out how much income you're making and your expenses and say, okay, what kind of budget am I realistically going to have when I retire? You're going to be surprised. The budget should go down quite a bit. Number one, you're not driving into work anymore, so that's a good thing. Number two, you're not eating out at work anymore as well. Now you're home. You don't got to be driving. You have to be buying all these clothes for work. All that stuff is out the window. But you certainly need to make sure you do a budget and understand what it's like in retirement. Because at retirement, guys, I understand a lot of people hate doing budgets, but you have to budget. It's critical. There's no more income coming in. The only income that you're getting now is coming from your retirement account. So yes, your money is working for you, and that's awesome, but you are actually not going out and working yourself. So you really want to make sure that you have a budget in place, right? You need to have a budget in place, and you need to stick with it. This is it, guys. There is no going back to work, and no, it's over. Now it's time to be extremely strategic and make your money last as long as possible, and the budget will help you. And the fifth thing, and this is the most important thing where people retire and they don't think about this, but you really need to find what's your life purpose. What is it you really want to do? The whole saying of just going fishing, you can't do that every day. You can do it once in a while, but you can't do it every day. But you really need to say to yourself, when I retire, this is what I want to do. This is my life purpose. Let's say, for example, I give you mine. My purpose is to travel and just discover different cultures and just change my whole mindset of how I see the world. Right now, I don't travel as much and I want to, but I'm grinding and I'm working, and I shouldn't delay it for when I retire. I'm going to start traveling a little bit now. But when I'm older, I just want the freedom to just walk around and experience cultures, right? Continue doing YouTube videos if I want, because I love doing it. It's a passion. Just get on, talk, share my story, share my experience. Hopefully I help someone out. Right? I also want to be a teacher, and I'll probably do it for free. Just go to school, talk about personal finance, help out the youth to get better with their finances. Those are all the things that I want to do when I hit the retirement age, because I find enjoyment in that, right? You're not going to be able to go from a schedule, right? A 9-to-5 schedule every day, wake up in the morning, breakfast, work, lunch, home, shower, dishes, sleep, repeat. Now you're on your own, right? There's no mandatory things that you need to do. Now you're on your own. You got all the free time in your world. So you got to make sure now you're doing the things that you really enjoy and you really love. That's why so many people, they retire and they go back to working because that's what they really enjoy, right? Some people go to Walmart, they become a greeter, or they go to Disney, from what I see here a lot, to just be around people and to have conversations, because to some people that makes them feel alive and make them feel free. Right? But if you just do not want to go back to work, then you need to have a purpose. As simple as that. Retiring and sitting on your couch and doing nothing, that's not the life that you want to have. Okay, that will just not last whatsoever. I know me personally, my job, I gotta take 2 weeks off consecutively. After a few days, I'm like, okay, I'm bored. I gotta do something. And I planned a vacation, yes, but after that, it's like, that's it. Like, what am I gonna do? I just get bored. So you need to make sure you have a good life purpose in order for your retirement to be joyful. So there you have it, guys. Those are the 5 things that you need to have in place when you retire. It's extremely critical you do these 5 things, because if you don't know the answers to these 5 things and you don't have these 5 things figured out, your retirement would not be a very joyful retirement. which is what we want, right? You worked so hard. You did all the things that you needed to do to get to this point, to just like have freedom. But you should get to that point where you could enjoy life to the fullest. You don't want to go in there with debt. You don't want to go into it broke. You don't want to go retiring because you're getting pushed out the door and now you have no idea what you want to do. So thanks for watching the video and sticking around to the end. Please take the time to leave a like, leave a comment, and hit the subscribe. If you're someone that's retiring, drop a comment down below and let me know how you're planning your retirement. I would love to hear it. Catch you guys in my next video. Peace.